All right, well, good morning. Welcome to our morning devotions. This is episode 367. I entitled this Favorable Change in Local Government. It's very interesting. Sometimes, sometimes the way God answers prayers is He just changes the circumstances around you. I was thinking sometimes you get a zoning commissioner. I'm just citing this. You get a zoning commissioner who's kind of got their back up against the church expanding, so he holds things up like among the in the government, local government, and makes it difficult for the church to do the building they want. Sometimes you get a zoning commissioner or someone like that who likes the idea of the church expanding and it greases the wheels and things go through easily. And this is similar to that because last chapter we read they weren't supposed to rebuild the temple until they got word from Darius. But they go ahead and do it anyway. That's the key. So all the commentators are clear that if there was a more, unfavorable governor there overseeing that area, they could have been in big trouble. But they attribute this to God's hand. And the governor, he's very even-handed. This whole chapter talks about an even-handed Persian governor or Syrian governor who's working for the Persians that is very even-handed, and before he's going to do anything, he needs data. So he's looking for information, and based on this information, he's going to be able to make a good decision. This is an example of how you should do everything. It's here. It's balanced. It's prudent. He's not sure of the circumstances, why accusations are being made against the stopping of the temple. He's the new guy, so to speak. The Israelis are saying, no, this has all been a commission all the way back by Cyrus. And so he's kind of in the middle. So before he decides, he's going to find out. That's what this chapter is about. As far as the rebuilding of the temple, they just start in again, all right? And we'll read about it. But if they did not have a governor that was more or softly disposed towards the process, based on what had already been decreed from Artaxerxes, it could have been trouble. But it's not, is the point. Okay, so let's look at the passage. This is in Ezra chapter 5, verse 1. And the prophets, and I love this because the ones that get things geared up again and assist in the building are these big name prophets of Haggai and Zechariah. So you have these men that are engaged in this work, who God speaks through, which is, that's the way it starts. So this is all governed by God's hand through these prophets. And that's where chapter 5 starts. And the prophets, Haggai the prophet and Zechariah the son of Iddo, prophesied unto the Jews that were in Judah and Jerusalem in the name of the God of Israel, even unto them. Now, you know, Haggai and Zechariah are all the way at the end of our Old Testament canon. But here they are because Ezra is one of these. This is a post-exilic or after the exile event under Ezra in rebuilding of the temple. But here it is earlier in the Old Testament. So you have reference here in Ezra to both Haggai and Zechariah are there to assist in the rebuilding of the temple and in the revival of Israel and Judah after they have returned from the exile. They're back in the promised land. So what you see when you describe these prophets, there's three ways. Pre-exilic prophets before the exile, Jeremiah, Isaiah. Exilic, or during the exile would have been Ezekiel and Daniel. All right, and then these are post-exilic, after the exile. Okay, which here I'm not listing them all, but this would be Haggai and Zechariah and Malachi. These are after the exile, so these prophets prophesied before it, during it, and after it, and that's how we kind of break the ministry of these prophetic utterances, that we separate them. So, verse 2, then rose up Zerubbabel, who's in charge of this. Then rose up Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, and Jeshua, these two guys, you see them together, the son of Josadak, and began to build the house of God which is at Jerusalem, and with them were the prophets of God helping them. Now, I like this idea of helping them because I can't see either Zechariah or Haggai standing around. I don't think the helping them was while they're sitting over there in their lounge chairs in the yard, sipping on an iced tea, telling the guys, "We're praying for you." I don't see that. I think these guys were engaged in the help. All right, Haggai and Zechariah. They're actually engaged in this process, all right? They're not just praying, they're praying and working. So it tells us that these prophets are engaged in this, which again puts the imprimatur of Jehovah on this project, all right? It's against the law. Now listen to this. It's against the law because they hadn't got word from Darius yet to restart building. But they're functioning against the law. Now, the commentators, I think, are right about this because when you have Darius on the scene, it was Artaxerxes that said, don't do it. Darius is a different guy. Some believe, because some of the names are changed here as far as the Persian operatives that functioned in that part of the country, that they had either died or were killed. Because when you get a new Persian king, if he likes you, you stay. If he doesn't, he may just execute you. This is the way it works. So Israel knows that Artaxerxes, the one that said stop building it, isn't on the scene anymore. And so let's go ahead. Let's test this, and then we see what's happening. So they begin. All right. This is how it works. We talk about there's all the details, but so often things just get done by doing them. That's what we're looking at here. And yes, the law was don't build, all right? But there's a new king and there's a new governor and things are different and we have the hand of God on us. So let's just get back at it, okay? Because really in the whole Persian Empire, I mean, I'm just adding this. In the whole Persian Empire, who really cares what's happening in Judah? The Persian Empire is gigantic, right? We're just out there in what's the promised land, which is important to us because of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But compared to the whole Persian Empire, it's just another piece of ground over there alongside the Mediterranean Sea. All right, so they start up again, and here it is. And here's the guy you want to remember. At that time came to them Tatnai, Tatnai. This is the guy who is the level-headed governor. He comes to them. Governor on this side of the river. Remember, this side of the river is that which is west of the Euphrates. It's almost like the liberals here in the United States. They say if you're not on the East Coast, the Boston, D.C., Baltimore. No, it would be Boston, Baltimore, D.C., Philadelphia. I mean that stretch. If you're not there, then the rest of it is flyover country. Well, that's the idea. It's everything, whatever is west of the river is just flyover country as far as the Persians are concerned. That's the way it's described. It said, at the same time came them Tatnai, governor on this side the river, and Shelthar, Boznai, and their companions, and said unto them, who commanded you to build this house and to make up this wall? Okay, where did you get instructions to do this? They're aware of what's happening. So they're checking. Like, did you get word that we're not aware of to start this project? And then it says this. Then said we unto them after this manner. This is what we said. What are the names of the men that make this building? And so what we're going to describe now is who's responsible. So first of all, why are you doing it, and who's doing it? Did you get authority to do it, and then who's actually doing it? And it said, verse 5, but the eye of their God was upon the elders of the Jews, that they could not cause them to cease. That is, what they're basically saying is, listen, we had some old guys here, and they knew this was the right thing to do, and it didn't matter what the law said. They were just going to go ahead and do it anyway. The elders. I'll tell you, this is going to be a hard one to work into all of your well-found equations on how work gets done. It's right here. I mean, they haven't received approval. They just started up because the hand of God was on them. The governor comes to check on them, and they haven't got approval. And all they say is the elders here. I mean, they couldn't resist any longer, and we just started up. That's what's going on here. He said till the matter come to Darius, and then they returned answer by letter concerning this matter. So it says, the copy of the letter that Tatnai, governor on this side of the river, and Shel-boznai and his companions, the Aparsachites, which were on this side of the river, sent unto Darius the king. They sent a letter unto him, wherein was written thus, unto Darius the king, all peace. Now Tatnai is going to send a letter back to Darius. He doesn't stop the building is the key. The men are still after it. The prophets are still helping. They're just saying we couldn't hold off any longer. So he wants to find out. He's not going to stop it until he's sure he should. That's the key. This is when you get a level-headed civil authority. You want a guy like this, all right? God uses everything, and he's going to use Tatnai here. So he sends this letter. Be it known unto the king that we went into the province of Judea to the house of the great God, which is builded with great stones, timber is laid in the walls, and this work goeth fast and prospereth in their hands. He said, the project there in Jerusalem is ongoing. It's going well. Then asked we those elders and said unto them thus, who commanded you to build this house and to make up these walls? Okay, where did you get permission to do this? Like, where are your permits posted on the door for the electrician and the plumber, right? The building permit, all right? I don't see any permits for you guys. You just went ahead and they're doing it anyway, all right? And then it says, we asked their names also to certify thee, that we might write the names of the men that were the chief of them. And we asked who was doing it, so we could say that this is actually happening. See, he's doing his homework. Do you have authority, and who's the one who's actually doing the work? All right. So he asked for the names, and then he says, and thus they returned to answer, saying, we are the servants of the God of heaven and earth, and build the house that was builded these many years ago, which a great king of Israel builded and set up. So he said, they're just saying that he's talking about Solomon. He's just talking about this great king. They're still talking about this great king, all right, of building the temple. And then in verse 12, but after that our fathers had provoked the God of heaven unto wrath. He gave them into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, and Chaldea, who destroyed this house and carried the people away into Babylon. So yes, they're giving a true account of what happened, all right? I mean, it was set up, and then we rebelled, and then the place was destroyed. We know the story. This is the letter that Tatnai is writing back as it was rehearsed to him by the guys, by Joshua and Zerubbabel, who are rebuilding the temple. So this is the report. He's sending back to Darius. And it says in verse 13, but in the first year of Cyrus, king of Babylon, the same king Cyrus made a decree to build the house of God. And there it is. And they said, we do have permission. It came from Cyrus, all right? And that's why we're going forward with this. We were taken into captivity. It was all destroyed. But Cyrus, all right, the Persian king, gave us permission to come back and do this. All right, that's the big one right there. There is our building permit right there. Cyrus, it's the command of Cyrus. And the vessels of gold and silver of the house of God, which Nebuchadnezzar took out of the temple that was in Jerusalem, and brought them into the temple of Babylon, those did Cyrus king take out of the temple of Babylon, and they were delivered unto one whose name was Sheshbazzar, whom he had made governor, and said unto him, take these vessels, go carry them into the temple that is in Jerusalem, and let the house of God be builded in his place. Not only that, but Cyrus supported us in taking that stuff out of the treasury and sending it back with us to, again, furnish and provide for the needs of the temple once it's built. You see, it's not just we got command of it, but now we have also other information. The stuff was taken, the stuff that Nebuchadnezzar took, Cyrus gave to us to bring back that we could utilize in the building of this temple. I mean, it's just more information. Like, all this information is true. And so when you begin to document this, when you start to investigate, it's one truth upon another truth upon another truth upon another truth, which is going to reinforce the final truth that, yes, we have permission to do what we're doing here. And Artaxerxes, all right, under the pressure of the local government back 2 years ago, just didn't want us doing it, so they stopped it. But really, we had a commission from Cyrus all along to go ahead with this. You see, Artaxerxes overrode Cyrus. I mean, I didn't say that last week, but Cyrus said you could. Artaxerxes got twisted by the locals there and reversed what Cyrus had said by causing them to stop, all right, because the commission had already been given. Artaxerxes should have said, no, it's all true. We understand that. Cyrus knew better than anyone about the rebellious city of Jerusalem and what happened. I mean, after he defeated Nebuchadnezzar and the Jews were then under Persian rule, he knows all about this, and he still sends them back. So Artaxerxes was out of line, is what I'm saying, by making them stop, because there wasn't any news that Artaxerxes had that Cyrus didn't have even more acutely. All right. So, and then it goes in, let's see, verse 16. Then came the same Sheshbazzar and laid the foundation of the house of God, which is in Jerusalem. And since that time, even until now, hath it been in building, and yet it is not finished. Now, we know why. I mean, part of it is just because where they're doing it, and the locals, remember, the locals are holding them back. Remember, there's those lobbyists in Persia. You have the people on the ground. You have everything around us. He's saying that they've been here, but it's still not built. But they've been pushing against everything. All right, Zerubbabel and Joshua have been pushing against everything to get this built. All right, and that's all Tatnai is saying. They've been out here working on it, but it's still not done. Verse 17, and here we go. And this is the last verse. Now, therefore, if it seem good to the king, that is Darius, King Darius, another king, let there be search made in the king's treasure house. Go check in the treasury. Let there be a search made in the king's treasure house, which is there at Babylon, whether it be so. Now check this out. I need this verified. This story that I'm hearing, I don't know it. Tatnai is saying, I need confirmation. I love this guy. If you don't know, don't think you know. Don't say you know if you don't know. How many times have people said they know when they don't? All right, and that happens all the time because they don't want to look like they're out of the loop. But if you don't know, say, the easiest thing to say is, I don't know, but I'll check on that. I mean, there's no shame in that. But if you say you know and you don't, and then you give counsel based on your ignorance, that's bad. All right, just say, I don't know. I will check it out. I will get confirmation for this before we go ahead. All right, that's what he's doing, because he's over there out in the provinces. He's going back to the home base to find out what happened. He said, let there be search made in the king's treasure house, which is there at Babylon, whether it be so, that the decree was made of Cyrus the king to build the house of God at Jerusalem. Look in the records. Go to the Library of Congress. Okay, go through the congressional record and find the decree or the presidential signing of the document where it says, yes, you could go back and build the temple. Find that in the annals of Persian history. All right, which as far as Persia goes, it's not that ancient because it's not that far back. Go find out whether or not that's true, whether Cyrus sent them. He said, and let the king send his pleasure to us concerning this matter. And once you find that out, you let me know. And then I'll be able to determine what to do with the situation that I'm dealing with out on the frontier. And so that's what they do. He sends us back to Babylon, to the capital, and he wants Darius to check out the history of this event. I need all this confirmed. You let me know how it all works. But teachers I had, I'm not going to say his name here, but this is what he said. History is messy. It does not unfold in these nice, neat categories that we say, oh, yeah, this way and that way and this way and that way. Oh, no. History is messy because there's nothing standard to it, so to speak. It's the way men work with other men and driven by different forces and unpredictable because men are unpredictable. And the unfolding of history is unpredictable. For all those people out there that say, have some sense in their mind that you can predict history, what's going to happen next. I mean, if you find somebody that thinks that way, don't listen to them. Okay, they are not clear-headed thinkers. You can't predict it. It's history is just what we know, and the thing to do, because we can't predict it, is a true historian doesn't bring his own ideas and try to impose them on the past. A true historian only reports what he finds. That's crucial. A true historian only reports what he finds because he doesn't want his ideas to cloud or shape the past, because his ideas have no idea have no his ideas about the past, your own ideas about the past, are meaningless because you weren't there. The only way it can be truly historical is if you just report it like it's the news, not interpret it. Just say what happened. That's the key to a true historian, which is really hard because everybody wants to give their flavor. But as soon as you do that, the part that you add is not historical. You are shaping the past, which is illegitimate. It's terrible, and you're not a true historian. Now you're a manipulator and a propagandist because you're making the history agree with you to make a point now rather than just let history speak for itself. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But what we have in the Bible is just the reporting of this material, which is absolutely cool. All right, that's it. So Monday, June 22nd. And that's good for today. Lord bless you. You have a great day. And Lord willing, we will see everybody tomorrow as we keep working through the book of Ezra. Okay. All right. We'll see you.